Hi everybody, this is Dan Talks Sense, and today I'm going to be reviewing 4 fragrances from the house of Acqua. The first one I'm going to be reviewing is Arancia de Capri. The second one will be Eau De Cologne. The third one will be acquadiparma leather, and the fourth one will be acquadiparma Yuzu. So on each day of the week I'm going to try each one. I'm going to give my general thoughts on each fragrance. I'm going to let you know what the performance and the projection was like. And at the end I'm going to tell you what my favourites were from the house and whether I think that you should go out and buy a full bottle of one of these fragrances. So if you want to know more about these fragrances, please stay tuned. So guys, just to give you a brief, about a couple of weeks ago, me and a real good friend of mine, Lee Ball, we went and spent a day in Birmingham. And some people like spending the day testing wine or cigars or whatever it may be. We have a shared interest in niche fragrances, and it was probably one of my more enjoyable days of the year, this was, because where I live in Telford, we haven't really got boutiques and the big shops to try fragrances in. So that's why I've had to get samples from Fragcom groups on Facebook. But it was nice to actually go into a shop and speak to the people at the different tables, the different areas about the fragrances. All really friendly people in Selfridges and the other boutiques in Birmingham, really helpful. They were happy to spray them on tester strips and on the arms as well. A frustrating thing is that because of COVID, the staff have to do it for you. It might be a bit uncomfortable or embarrassing to ask somebody to spray it on your arm. You do feel more pressurised to buy something when the staff are there, I think, and that it does put people off. But it's a thoroughly enjoyable day, and Lee actually went and bought the Colonia, and then we had some dinner after, and I could smell it on him, and I will go into more detail about this after. But they were kind enough at the acquadiparma stand to give us some samples to take away. And what I did is I went for a bit of variety. So I went for 2 eau de parfums, which were Yuzu and leather. So I went for a stronger fragrance. I went for an eau de toilette. This is Arancia de Capri. And I also went for the eau de Cologne, just to give a variety, really. There's different strengths of the fragrances, and they're all slightly different in note breakdown, although acquadiparma are well known for their citrus barbershop type fragrances. In my experience of acquadiparma, they've not had fantastic performance, but I'll see how I get on through the week. So what I'm going to do is feedback how I got on with these fragrances. I wore one on each day of the week. Before I explain what I felt about each one, I'm just going to give you a screenshot of base notes Fragrantica, just to go over the note breakdown, to let you know the general note breakdown of each one, and then I'll explain how it performed, how it projected, and my general thoughts on the fragrance. So please stay tuned. So with this one, you've got some Brazilian orange and Sicilian lime in the top, rose and petitgrain in the heart, and some leather, cedarwood and gaiac wood in the base. Right guys, so the first one that I tried was acquadiparma leather, and I was really impressed with this one because I'm not a huge fan of leather fragrances. This also, it's instantly reminded me of Ombre Leather by Tom Ford, and the reason for that, I've got a work colleague called Paul Davis who used to wear this, and it's really potent, but in a good way. I felt it was a really spicy, lovely leather fragrance. I prefer Ombre Leather to Tuscan Leather. I think it's more work friendly, but it is a beast fragrance, and if people don't like it, then you are going to annoy them because it will smell, make the whole room smell that really potent leather, but a lovely fragrance. And the leather in this reminded me of that. I would prefer this to Ombre Leather because this has got lovely orange in the top, some nice citrus notes which kind of balance the fragrance out. So rather than having the spiciness that I get from Ombre Leather, with this one the citrus comes through, nice orange, and for me it makes it more office friendly. The performance on this was really good, so I put this on about 8:45 in the morning and I was still smelling it about 4:30 in the afternoon, and it wasn't a huge scent bubble. I would say it was about 2-3 foot away from me, but if you walk past people they will smell it on you, and I did like it. Very classy, really nice leather fragrance with, I would say, above average performance. I'd say well above average performance, because in my experience a lot of designer fragrances and niche tend to give you an hour or two. So if a fragrance lasts longer than that, I'd have to say that now, in today's day and age, that is above average. This definitely was, and I really liked it. So it was a great start to smelling these. The first day for me was a success. I'd probably give this a good 7.5 out of 10. A really solid fragrance from acquadiparma. So the next one that I'll go on to is Arancia di Capri. So with this one, you've got some bergamot, sage, orange, mandarin and lemon in the top, petitgrain and cardamom in the heart, caramel, oak moss, vetiver and musk in the base. So Arancia di Capri was the second one that I tried. And for me, this was probably the most disappointing one of the four. I put it on in the morning about 8:30, and within about an hour I could barely detect this on my skin. It's got the citrus notes at the top, as you'd expect from acquadiparma, but it quickly died off. I could barely detect it on me, and for me it's just a generic citrus fragrance, and for the price I'd expect more in terms of performance and projection. So for me, this was a disappointment, and I will move swiftly on to the next one, which was Yuzu. So with this one, you've got some yuzu, bergamot and pepper in the top, some mimosa, violet leaf and jasmine in the heart, some sandalwood, licorice and musk in the base. So yuzu for me was the star performer out of the lot. And the reason being is that it felt kind of unique for a citrus based fragrance. It smelled different to the other acquadiparmas, any other that I've smelt. And it had this lovely spiciness to it that came in, and I really enjoyed wearing this one. I was intrigued to know what yuzu actually meant, what type of smell it was and what sort of fruit it was. And it's actually a hybrid of grapefruit and an orange, and you can kind of get that because you get the bitterness from the grapefruit and it's counteracted with the freshness and the juiciness of the orange, and together it just was really sublime. I really enjoyed wearing yuzu. You know, I didn't know how you could make a citrus fragrance smell so unique, but for me, yeah, it's definitely different to anything else that I smelled, and this had superb performance. And Fragrantica is saying that it's kind of average, it's in the middle. For me, it was above average. This stayed with me throughout the day. So put it on at about 8:45 in the morning, and then around 4:30, I could still pick up whiffs of it. I did spray it on my shirt and in the elbow joints. But I was really impressed with this, and in terms of the fresher variety of acquadiparmas, this is probably one that I would go out and buy. But I'll now go on to the main one, which I think is the main event, and that is Colonia. So I'll go for the notes first and then tell you what I think of Colonia. So with this one, you've got some vetiver, sandalwood and patchouli in the base, with some lavender, rosemary, verbena in the heart, with Sicilian citrus fruits in the top. Fourth one that I tried was Colonia Eau De Cologne, and when I looked at it and you know, when I saw that it was an Eau De Cologne, I was anticipating this would be really faint and close to the skin, but this actually performed really well on my skin. And this, for me, the most prominent note in this one, apart from obviously the citrus part of it, was the lavender, and this gave off a really lovely soapy fragrance, really nice scent to it. If you like Eau de Jour and that soapy, clean type fragrances, so if you're like a gentleman, you've had a shave, and afterwards you want to smell fresh and clean, this is really, really good, and I was really impressed with this. And I know that it does actually perform quite well for an Eau de Cologne, because Lee, my friend, was wearing it, and when we were eating dinner I could smell it on him, and fantastic fragrance. I can see why this is notorious and it's a famous fragrance in Fragcom, because for me it was reliable fragrance, and it does what you'd expect from a long-standing fragrance. It's been well known in the community for a long time. Just really clean fragrance, and it almost made me want to get a razor out and shave my beard, although I wouldn't do that anymore because it makes me look like a potato. But absolutely lovely fragrance. I was really impressed with this. For me, it actually gave me really good performance and projection. The scent bubble is not beastly by any means. It was fairly close to my body, but this lasted the whole working day, and that's what I want from a fragrance. So it's a close tie for me between Yuzu and the Colonia. Both good in their own way. This was more unique to me. I really enjoyed the yuzu note. The combination of the orange and the grapefruit worked really well. And the old school Colonia, for me, it really, it impressed me. It performed better than I expected from an Eau De Cologne. Really clean, soapy lavender bomb that was a real delight to wear and made me think about shaving my face, which I haven't felt like that for a long time. But really impressed. So there was 4 that I tried, and only one of them was a letdown. The leather one was on par with ombre leather, but more user friendly. This was more unique and a real delight to wear. And this one was your old school barbershop one. Really impressed with. So really happy with acquadiparma line. If you've tried any of those fragrances before, you own a full bottle, you get better performance than I did, or you get the same kind of average performance, please let me know in the comments below. I have got a load of samples to try, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into the YouTubing because I have missed it. As it gets into the winter, I am going to drop my winter fragrance list, which I'm really looking forward to doing. So thank you for watching. Sorry it's been a couple of weeks since I dropped my last video. I hope you're all safe, enjoying your weekend, and I'll speak to you all very soon.